PDYN, Paladine AI. This is one that we've traded a whole bunch before. We've talked about this one quite a bit here. Looks like they had a piece of news here today that popped us above 7. But boy, oh boy, we had the dreaded big-time pullback, retraced 90% of that impulse move, made 2 attempts to recapture VWAP, were unsuccessful in both attempts. Here's the news that's fresh as of today. Paladine AI awarded a pair of contracts to research, develop, and operationally validate Swarm OS and Gremlin X under the Army's Disruptive Applications Broad Agency announcement. The terms are not disclosed. So here's the thing about this. I've gone on a number of rants because I held a company that ended up being a fraud, and this company put out a ton of PRs and never included terms or numbers in it. That is a huge red flag for me for the rest of my investing career. This sounds good on the surface. I imagine, and 13 will get your reaction to this too, I would imagine that the kind of pullback here is that there's not a whole lot of numbers to go on here. There's news and it's good, and we all know that the whole like drone thing is going to proliferate, and there's going to be more and more of that, but no terms here on this one, and I think that's why you're seeing some of this action. Let's take a quick peek at the short interest just to remind us on this one. 16.3% of the float shorted, 2.9 days to cover. It's elevated, but it's not high. Float on this just shy of 42 million. 13, you got any thoughts here on this PDYM chart or news or otherwise?
So we have a Department of War drone dominance program, that's undergoing, I think, we talked about this recently. I think it's phase 2 testing right now. We're supposed to know the results of that in August.
Yep.
I'm wondering if this is one of the companies. Do you remember what we were talking about? The Department of War with their drone dominance program that they're undergoing tests right now.
We talked about this yesterday.
And then the next test is going to be, it's going to narrow it down the field.
Here's my note sheet. This is a good reminder, 13. Here's my note sheet from yesterday. The Gauntlet 2 drone trial is the second major evaluation phase of the Pentagon's drone dominance program that you just spoke about. It's tied to a $300 million minimum prototype order effort and is expected to help identify systems for scaling and fielding. This indeed, the qualifying, if this is what you were talking about yesterday, the qualifying event runs from June 8th to June 20th of this year. Mm-hmm. What happens after that? The program moves to the next evaluation and contracting steps rather than simply ending there. The published phase 2 structure says the qualifier screens viable systems, and then the winners of that proceed to the production and delivery test, and then to the Gauntlet 2 final. So you're wondering here then if PDYN is one of these in that qualifying event.
I'm kind of wondering because now we're talking about how they're trying to get these systems to the U.S. Department of War. I'm just I'm not sure if they're part of that, but it's kind of interesting to have this kind of news happen at the same time that's going on.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a complete correlation, but we're talking about drones, and that is the testing program for drone combat capabilities and supply chain capabilities. So
okay, yeah, that really good mention there. Also, so just practically speaking, the government uses this June window, this qualifying phase, to narrow the field, and then whatever finalists make it from that, they're going to test to see if they can actually manufacture and then deliver those drones at scale. Here, Tess, doing some legwork for us. Paladine AI is not officially listed to the Pentagon's initial 25 vendor selection for the drone dominance program. They operate as an agile mid-tier prime and technology provider supplying crucial autonomy, swarming software, and hardware solutions directly to the DoD. Thank you, Tess, for doing some of the legwork for us. 13, I still think the thought process was spot on.